you need to shut the fuck up.
Hey, motherfuckers. This is Minx. Suck my balls.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
Put on your uniform right?
Expert Action Badge.
Show up to work on time.
Expert Action Badge.
Qualify on your weapon.
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
Find your guidon.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right. Just doing your noble warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action. The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. Action Badge.
This is Ranko Tour, and you're listening to WTF Nation Radio.
January 16th, 2018. Yes, I had to look at the date thing on my computer screen because I don't know what day it is other than Tuesday. Hello!
Hello!
I'm with Grey Cloud and Obsec Monkey!
Hi, everybody.
Surprise guest! Friggin' hello. How's your guys' weekends and, week been?
Pretty good. We had some snow.
Ew.
Yeah.
Texas was shut down today.
That's what I saw online.
Yeah, the whole state, we were just closed. Closed for business.
Yeah, it's crazy here because where I'm at, we have national labs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all about safety and all this stuff. And yet they make people go home at 5 o'clock when there's 2 inches of snow on the road.
I mean, because that makes sense. So,
yeah.
Right? So I don't understand what your big deal is. What is your concern? Obviously, it's safe.
Right.
It's all about, speed control at that point, right?
I think so.
Yep.
Right? You want to make sure you go fast enough to get up hills, but not fast enough to where you, lose control while you're going up the hill. So it's a fine balance.
It's very fine.
Yeah.
That semi-truck video that got shared in one of our chats.
Oh, yeah. You remember? I remember.
Ooh.
It's true. Ugh. So what's up, Monkey? You in a hot minute?
Yeah, I've been busy. I've been busting bad guys and doing investigations, building Skynet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What is Skynet?
So I am building a machine that does predictive threat analytics.
That, exists?
Yeah, you ever see the movie Minority Report?
Yes.
That's what I'm building.
No. Dude, no.
Yeah. Minus the homeless people in the basement, because that's frowned upon.
Right? That's frowned upon. Having the triplets in there, that's frowned upon.
Yeah. But it works. It's accurate. We've done test after test after test, and we've been able to predict things and show people things that they don't even know that have happened yet. And then 2 or 3 days later, those things happen.
Dude, that's trippy as fuck.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. Some traveling here and there. If you ever get a chance, go to Rachel, Nevada.
Ooh, why? What's there?
Area 51.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Freaking, I'm named after the town in Nevada.
Allen, where the Air Force School is.
I guess. I don't know. I don't think that's right though.
Or not Air Force School. Whatever it is.
I don't think that's where they got it from. At least I don't know. My biology teacher asked me that when I was a sophomore in high school. He was like, "Are you named after this town?" I was like, I don't know. And he's like, "Did your parents fuck there?" Again, I don't know. I don't want to know. But thank you for bringing this up. This is good.
That's funny. But yeah, so other than, I've been working with an organization catching pedophiles online.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Fun.
so within the last 4 years, they've rescued about 1,000 children involved in human trafficking and sex trade.
Oh my gosh.
And they've arrested about 100 people all across the globe.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing more work with them in the future and, helping catch some bad guys.
Now, does that work with Ashton Kutcher's foundation?
So Thorn, it's an organization like Thorn, but it's not Thorn.
Okay.
These guys are more knuckle draggers, kick in the door, shoot people, take names, that type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're more like reactive instead of doing the monitoring and chatting with people and then letting the police go arrest them. These guys are actually doing the stings, setting the stuff up with the police, and then executing it and being there whenever they're arrested.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting.
You've been a very, very busy monkey.
Yeah.
Friggin'. Grey Cloud and I have not been as busy. I think the most exciting thing for us is that we both just got the new, or it's not new, it's been out for a while now, but we've started playing Rainbow Six Siege. And that's been fun.
Love that game.
We get to kill some terrorists.
Does make
I'm
for a
pretty
good night.
horrible at it.
You, what, monkey?
I'm really horrible at it. Yeah.
I'm not super bad at it, I guess. Yeah, like I'm pretty like I'm okay. I'm all right at it. The suicide bombers give me anxiety. Like when I see them running at me, I'm like, so I'll unload an entire magazine and they're still fucking booking towards me, and that's when I turn around and run away, and I'm like, help! Help! So yeah, fuck those guys.
And today I figured out you could shoot through walls, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. So I spent the first 30 seconds of the match just shooting through a window.
You can shoot through walls. It's amazing. And the floor.
Yeah.
If it's a wooden floor, you can shoot through it. But it was great. We had, I got off work today, and I went online, and I played with Pip and Redleg and Raptor 6 and Sergeant Bade. So we had like a full squad going. It was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. Friggin'.
Yeah. I just play with random people and then they get angry at me because I'm like, I'm just gonna kill the hostage.
Right?
Let's get it over with.
Fuck this.
Yep. Frowned upon.
Mm-hmm. Right. Friggin'. All right. Grey Cloud, I know you were on last night with the big boss Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one of the topics covered was Bradley Manning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, drink your scotch. I know you didn't really get a chance to speak because Old Man River started venting hashtag Ice Rants Matter. However, I know you, just by like the look on your face, your facial region, if you will, you've got something to say about it. So I would love to hear your what you got to say about Bradley Manning running for Senate.
It shouldn't happen. It's a fucking travesty. We'll start with that.
All right, go on.
But unfortunately, the way a lot of our laws are written and the way that actually is written in the Constitution, that apparently he is going to be allowed to run. So I know the main page, Nation, if you're listening, get over to the main page and pull up the story. We published it this morning, I think about 08 Eastern Standard Time, on him actually making the announcement to run. And there's a lot of comments that go in through there. Oh, you know, this and that and the other. The first thing we're going to say about this, Nation, before you spout off that something is against the rules or against the law or whatever the fuck says it can't be this, fucking cite it. Actually go find it and cite it correctly. Either in U.S. Code, the CFR, UTMJ, wherever the fuck it is that you quote-unquote found this information, and fucking cite it. You aren't a fucking barracks lawyer. You aren't some other fucking garbage person. Fucking cite it. In statute, in law, in federal regulation, fucking cite it. All right? Because there's a lot of people, oh, it's illegal. Oh, he can't hold a clearance, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, you fuckers don't know shit. Elected officials, people we vote into office, have a different way of acquiring their eligibility. Okay? The American people vote them into a position of trust, i.e., we trust them, and that grants them their eligibility to classified information. Hands down. Right? So let's get that out of the fucking way. Now, to be in the Senate, right, there are certain rules and regulations in federal. I saw a couple other, somebody spouted off on some other fucking U.S. code. Well, sorry, bud. That code doesn't apply to the charges that were brought against him and that he was convicted of. Go look at the fucking charge sheet. Before you start spouting off on that shit, it took me 5 minutes to find the charge sheet. And what he was convicted of. So know what you're talking about before you start throwing comments on a post. End of story. Now, as for him actually running for Senate, I don't think it should happen. However, I hate to say this, and I threw this up on my Great Cloud page. The way the country is going, there's a good chance he's going to win.
No.
You know, he's going up against an incumbent, right? So I think it's Cummings or some shit here in Maryland. And now Manning currently doesn't have any money, as far as I know. He hasn't raised any money. The incumbent has raised approximately $2 million in cash for his campaign. And both have yet to actually file in person to actually run for the Senate seat itself. Now, let's throw out the worst case scenario. Let's put this frag out there. What if he wins? Okay, he doesn't necessarily have to be seated by the Senate. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so the Senate can actually vote to remove him.
Oh, good.
Even if he wins his seat, the Senate can vote to remove him. So he may get elected and he may win that seat or whatever, but then the Senate can vote to remove him. And what that would do, that would actually create a lot of other secondary and tertiary effects on who gets that seat. Now, I haven't looked it up on how that would actually work on when is it the governor that gets to appoint it because the Senate removes him, or is there a new election, a special election? So that's something we'd have to look up for that and whatnot. And then some of the other comments that really blew my mind, what if he did get, let's say he does get elected, and the Senate decides not to remove him from the Senate, like vote him out? What committees do they put him on?
No, I mean, that's a good question because he has a history of leaking shit to not the right people.
Right.
Because let's all remember, that's what he got charged and convicted for.
Yep. So,
Weird.
again, it's just really frustrating that this is even an issue. And let's not talk about his campaign video.
Oh my God. No, I have to. So, my Minx Twitter, I was feeling feisty earlier, and I really hope Bradley responds. Or, something along those lines. Anyways, I asked, someone in the Twitterverse if they could kindly let at XY Chelsea know that his Adam's apple was showing during his campaign video. And then also, make sure to let him know that he's referring to himself as a man, right? In his Twitter handle. Like, we just, as long, I need to know that he is aware that he is calling himself a man still. Because otherwise it's all for naught, right? But yeah, I just, the Adam's apple, it was so distracting. Anytime his fucking face would go into frame, I'm like, oh, there it is. Adam's apple. Like, spotted. And then also, he sounded like fucking Buffalo Bill from fucking Silence of the Lambs. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. Ew, no. No, I would not. Oh, and then I have more questions. More questions. Is he attracted to men or women now that he is pretending to be a chick? Inquiring minds want to know.
That's yes, they do.
I have questions.
And you probably won't get any answers. Just saying.
Right? Like, I don't know. Like, has he had his Audi converted into an innie yet?
It's probably coming.
That's what she said. No, I've got questions. Obviously, he is taking estrogen. Sorry, Minx, you're using the wrong gender pronouns for it. No, he is a man. So, obviously, he's been taking estrogen, right? Well, one of the side effects of that, ball shrinkage and, I don't know, does it shrink your dick? I don't know. Again, I was born female, so I've never had to take estrogen to, shrink the size of my dick. I know women who transition into men, allegedly, okay, so women who take testosterone so that way they can act like men, their clits actually kind of, get a little bigger. It's nothing, I don't know, what is it? It looks almost like a baby's penis, I guess you could say. So, those of you who've had, infant sons, allegedly, women who take testosterone, as Grey Cloud dies, apparently, according to science, their clits get a little, elongated and to where they're, kind of more pronounced than normal because, let's all remember, the clitoris and the penis are made of the same tissue, right? Technically, they are, which is why, when women get turned on, that's why their clit kind of, gets almost erect, right? It gets a little firmer and, you're oh, there it is, and it becomes a little nub and, you can see it better, right? It's true. That's what happens. But it's almost, it is, and that's why they say, oh, yeah, your clit gets erect, because it has erectile tissue in it, and it helps stimulate the nerves.
Learn something new every day.
You all right, Grey Cloud?
I'm good.
I didn't mean to kill you. I'm sorry.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Can he get somebody pregnant?
See, I don't know. That depends. Does he fuck girls? What? Well, okay. Well, one, we got to take it back a step. Is someone willing to actually fuck him? So that's the first part, right? And then, is that someone male or female?
Okay, so let me answer your first question. You know that there's somebody out there that just to say they did it.
No.
I wonder if he has a Tinder profile.
Oh, or Grindr.
Grindr.
We don't know.
Can't you look that up, Opsec Monkey?
Right,
Aren't
Monkey?
You,
don't
Let me
you
find
have,
out. Let me find out.
Right, Opsec Monkey. I need you to look
We
that
need to
shit
find this
up.
out. Does he have a profile?
Right? Ooh, or plenty of fish. Inquiring minds need to know.
Wait, is he fishing with a worm?
Oh my god.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is going downhill in a hurry.
Right? Fuck it. It's Tuesday. Whatever. But no, I think as long if Bradley, what's the right word? Copiate? No, that's not the right word. If Bradley somehow seduces a female, which, let's face it, I'm sure there's a new age feminist out there who's all about getting some tranny love. And because if she says no, then she's a bigot, and that's frowned upon in today's society, right? You can't turn away the transgenders because then you're a transphobic or a homophobic or a bigot and a racist, like all combined. And that's unacceptable. So obviously, this new age feminist would then have to submit, right, to Bradley. As long as, if Bradley still has his testicles, yes, he could potentially get someone pregnant. But that's only if he acts as the male of the pairing and does not get pegged by his new age feminist. Hello, Ice.
Hi, I just want to see if I sound good coming from my new downloaded Skype of the old version. Do I sound all right?
Yes, you sound fine.
Okay. What are y'all talking about?
Bradley Manning. And if he takes it up the ass, or if he...
And if he has a dating profile.
Yeah, Opsec Monkey is looking to see if he's got a Tinder or plenty of fish profile.
Oh, God. Anywho, all right. I just wanted to make sure that I was coming in Lima Charlie 5x5, making sure I was good to go, and then you know what I'm saying? What's that new Hawaiian movie? The Disney movie called Glowana. Have you seen that yet?
Moana.
Oh, it's Glowana. Have you seen the new meme?
No.
Yeah, just check it out.
No.
Anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't even know what he takes, or it takes, or she's knick-knack, paddywhack.
Right?
Give a dog a bone.
But no, I was telling everybody that my Mink's Twitter asked Chelsea to next time cover up his Adam's apple during his campaign video because it's distracting to look at. And then also he sounds like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. He does.
Sounds like somebody else to me, but we won't go there.
But I was letting Grey Cloud vent.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me hear the vent, and then I'll get off. I just wanted to make sure that I was, rocking and rolling with the music. Go ahead. What were you saying?
The vent's lower, but there is some. So I got some additional information. 17th Amendment of the Constitution established direct election of senators as well as a means of filling a vacant seat. So if a vacancy occurs due to a senator's death, resignation, or expulsion, which was the case of Manning, if he got elected and the Senate booted his ass, the 17th Amendment allows state legislators to empower the governor to appoint a replacement to complete the term. So basically, it's a hand-selected individual from the governor, which could either not change the party stance when the coming election, or it could swing it, depending on who the governor chooses, which we have seen happen in recent elections, or in recent appointments, actually.
Oh, we've seen some swinging, all right. Yeah. So my biggest thing is that that little fucker, if he honestly thinks he's gonna, I want him to get fucking trounced. You know what I mean? I want his ass to get fucking beat the fuck up in an election, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Right?
Oh.
Not in real life, just metaphorically.
Of course, metaphorically, rhetorically, and speaking in hyperbole, because I don't want nobody to get pissed off and say, "I just trying to spread hate." And no, that's not what I'm trying to do. All I'm trying to say is that I hope he gets destroyed. Because the last time somebody fucking said something in the metaphorical sense, they actually took it literal because they were a bunch of bitches. But I just can't wait to see what happens. And then I want, as a matter of fact, since he's going to have outside help, we'll assist the other guy. Matter of fact, I think that'll be a good idea. Hey, nation, why don't you all fucking do some campaign slogans against this guy or girl or XY butterfly?
Right? It.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that was another thing. We were wondering if the estrogen has shrunk his dick to, like, where it looks like just an enlarged clit.
Okay, well, hey, I'm just glad you all would help me out with my Skype test here, and then
You're welcome. See, now you're wondering. Like, these are questions.
Other questions.
now my Skype works like yours, so thank you very much for helping me.
You're so welcome, boss man.
See ya. Y'all, good night.
Bye.
Yeah.
So Mike Everett in Facebook Live has an interesting point as well. So hypothetically, if he did get elected, right, and the Senate dismissed him prior to him being seated or right after he got seated, would the trans community be up in a roar? However,
let's all remember the percentage of the population who identifies as trans is less than 1%.
it's tiny, like Manning.
Less than 1% of the U.S. population identifies as transgender. Let's just remember this. So I think that the Senate needs to not cower down to the minute minorities.
Right. And I agree. I totally agree on this point, because what is best for the nation?
Right? Because if you bow down to every little demand, where does it stop?
Right. But I'm looking at it from a bigger picture standpoint. What is best for the nation? Yes, we don't want to bow down to all those little things, but to have somebody who is a known releaser of classified information, was convicted on several counts of mishandling it, that's somebody you really want trying to govern the nation?
No.
I mean, there are certain things that, I got it. Transparency in government, the people need to know what's going on. However, there are certain things that just not need to be out there.
Right, such as troop movements.
It just blows my mind that would even have to be fathomed by the Senate.
Yeah. No.
Fuck. Anyway.
So I have an idea.
Oh, go for it, monkey.
All right. We get out there. We tell everybody that we're supporting Manning, and we give them the Tide packet. Boom. Problem solved.
Oh my God. Okay. No, honestly, I can't even say I'm shocked that these fucking children have started doing this Tide Pod challenge. You're not cool unless you try to eat some fucking laundry detergent. I'm kind of happy it's going on, because let's thin the herd. Darwin,
well, did you know that your walls are made of cotton candy?
Oh, they are? Oh, gonna eat
Yep.
them.
You have to break the drywall down, though.
Hell yeah, the insulation? Fuck
Yep.
yeah, it is. Don't worry if your stomach starts itching. It's completely normal.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. We should get that going. No, honestly, though, like I said, this is fucking Darwinism at its finest. Survival of the fittest or smartest. And those of you who decide, I'm going to eat laundry detergent Even though there's clearly a warning right there that says, don't ingest. Fuck it, I'm going to do it anyways. Because if I don't, then I'm not cool. And if I'm not cool, then why the fuck am I alive? So they should just, yeah. No, just, like, literally remove warning labels.
Oh, there'll be a lot of that take care of itself.
Yes, exactly. We'll thin ourselves out. Like, we don't need, sure, we've got a couple plagues going around right now to help thin out the herd, but it's not working fast enough. So
I dropped one of those, meme things in one of the chats today.
Yes.
And it's 1998. It captures it's a Twitter capture. 1998. I bet we'll have flying cars 20 years from now. 2018. Literally having to tell people not to eat laundry detergent.
Right.
What the hell is wrong with kids?
I don't know.
And dude, what the hell is wrong with their parents?
Well, I mean, we did fucking stupid shit growing up too, but it was mostly just physical endangerment, like, jumping our bikes off of homemade ramps and then laying down underneath and be like, all right, how many of you bitches can I jump over? It's like, all right, well, make it.
I mean,
but
worse, you could die of internal bleeding.
Right.
I mean, come on.
And crush your spine. It's fine. It's fine. You walk it off. Shit, stop crying. My mom's gonna hear.
Don't bleed on our carpet.
Right?
Then we're both gonna die.
I remember when I was a kid, I came home, I had broke ribs from four-wheeling. And my dad was like, don't you even dare cry. He's like, if you start crying, he's like, I will give you something to cry about. And he was dead serious.
That's that phrase always killed me. You want something to cry about?
Right.
No, I would not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I knew what was going to happen.
Right? I will give you something to cry about. Oh! Okay, I'll be good.
Oh, man.
Right? Hell yeah. Can we bring that shit back? Like, come on.
Oh, it'd probably help out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But, well, fuck it.
Right.
To this day, when I hear somebody take a belt off and crack it, it just sends chills up my back. And I am a grown man.
So my dad had this move, right?
Oh, God.
And so we lived in you consider a tri-level home growing up. But he had this move where he could, with one hand, undo his belt and it come out kind of like what opposite of what we were saying. It'd come out and you were trying to get away, it would get you and stun you enough for you to fall and him to walk over there and pick you up and then, give you a good beating with it.
But you grew up to be like a functioning, level-headed member of society, yes?
Yeah, because that fucking belt hurts.
Yeah.
But still, and then I keep seeing all these articles pop up on my real book, and they're like, if you spank your kid, they're 20% likely to be like an abuser. It's like, no.
Oh.
Like, where's your science on this? I have questions.
So I ran into this really old lady at Walmart the other day.
Was she beating someone with her cane?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
So I was standing there and I was looking to get something, and she whacks me with her cane, and she said, if you're not going to buy something, move.
That's awesome.
You got caned.
So after that, my day was kind of ruined at Walmart.
Poor monkey.
So I'm walking around with a cart, and this lady's like looking at her cell phone, and I slam my cart into her. And I was like, I need to see your license and registration and proof of insurance. And she's like, what? And I was like, don't make me call the police. And she's like so into what she's doing. She has no idea what I'm talking about. And she's freaking out because her insurance is in her car. And I'm like, you better get it or I'm going to call the police. And she left. And then I left.
Monkey.
That's awesome.
You're so. Oh my god. I need to see. Oh, I heard a joke yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. All right, so these two guys are talking, and the one guy tells his friend, you know, hey, I made $2,505 this weekend. And his friend goes, oh, how'd you do that? And the guy says, oh, I was giving out blowjobs. And his friend was like, well, who gave you $5? And the guy's like, everybody gave me $5. What are you talking about? Do you not get it?
No,
there we go. There we go.
It's one of those slow burners.
Yeah.
Everyone gave me $5. He was a whore.
That's good. That's
Dude,
good.
$5 is $5.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. Oh, so speaking of medical stuff, what do you think? And I don't have this story pulled up, but I'd like your opinion on it. How do you leave a scalpel in a patient?
You know, that is a very good question. In my 12 years of doing this job, I have never left anything in a patient, let alone a scalpel. There are stories because, you know, going through school, they tell us horror stories of left behind objects in people during surgery. Well, we have an instrument which is literally 14 inches long and about, you know, what is that? 3-4 inches wide.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's about like that, right? And it's solid metal. And it's called the large malleable retractor. People have left that bitch inside someone. Somehow, right? So let's think about this. And I know exactly what you're talking about. And in the x-ray, the scalpel, which has, wait for it, I think it was a number 10 blade on it, which is our normal like skin cutting blade for big open belly cases, right? Which makes sense given that it was inside the abdomen. However, being in the lower abdomen, let's think about what's down there. So not only do you have the bladder, and it was a male, so the bladder, the prostate, the ureters, you've got your large intestine, your small intestine is down there. But that's just organs. Let's talk about our major blood vessels. So your descending abdominal aorta is there, which branches off into your femoral arteries. That's right there. You've got your vena cava, which is right there, which is coming up from the fucking saphenous, which turns into the femoral vein, which goes into the vena cava. Yeah, I think that's right. But yeah, so you've got major blood vessels. And on top of that, this scalpel was in him for 4 years.
And surprisingly didn't do any damage.
Somehow.
Major damage.
Which is absolutely mind-blowing. This dude is so lucky. Because one wrong movement could have severed, not just, or like punctured, not just a vital organ, but could have severed his fucking aorta or his vena cava, in which case he would have bled out in minutes.
Say like a 60-second bleed out time or something like that.
Yeah. Fucking.
That's insane.
So,
It's like that commercial where the guy is laying on the bed and the doctor's over him and he has the iPhone in his stomach.
oh my god.
Snickers
And
commercial,
Siri
that's
starts
awesome.
talking to him.
Right. But no, like, it's unfathomable how that got lost in the abdomen. There is no excuse. No, me personally, I always, like, you know, when I give the doc the scalpel, as soon as he hands it back, like, or sets it down, I grab it and I put it far away. To the point where my docs have actually asked me, like, why do you keep moving the knife away from me? And I was like, 1, so you don't cut yourself, because, you know, that's fucking bad for just everybody involved. 2, again, I don't want to fucking lose it. But, Fucking artillery's going after it tonight. But yeah, fucking it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, so not only is, like, one, I'm so glad that VA center in Connecticut is being sued, rightfully so, by this veteran. And I hope, and he is going to win. Like, there's no way around it. He is going to win. That doctor needs to be held accountable and, you know, be sued for malpractice. That entire room that operated on him, which every person in that room is on his fucking record as far as who was in there. Like, the nurse and the tech and anesthesia is going to be on his record. And any tech that came in there to do any sort of relief, whether it be for lunch or end of the day. Why weren't those counts correct? Because especially for a big open belly case, when we start closing everything up, we do like 3 to 4 counts of everything, like sponges, instrumentation, any sort of sharps that we have, that which includes the knives, hypos, our bovie tips, and suture needles. If those don't fucking add up or match up, then you call x-ray right away. And while the patient is still asleep, you take an x-ray of wherever you think it might be. In this case, it should have been the fucking abdomen. They would have seen it right away, like, oh shit, there it is. But obviously they didn't fucking follow protocol. They didn't follow standards. That whole room needs to be held accountable. Because what they did was absolute negligence. And they're so lucky this patient did not die. Sorry, all right, I'm done ranting.
No, it's good. I mean, it's again, everybody goes, oh, you get VA healthcare, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah, they try to kill you.
It's like the shirt says, giving vets a second chance to die.
Woo!
Woo! But no, I just wanted your take on that as a medical professional.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah,
it's fucking ridiculous.
I agree.
I have to go to the doctor tomorrow, speaking of medical professionals.
Oh?
Yeah, I have to have a food allergy test done.
You're allergic to peanuts?
No, I'm allergic to beef, and I'm lactose intolerant.
You're allergic to beef? Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
No, hamburger, steak.
Yeah, steak.
I haven't had beef in 10 years.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That sucks.
Yeah. But it's kind of like a peanut allergy. So it's bad enough to where if I go out to eat and the cook uses a utensil that like barely touches something that has his beef on it and it touches my food, I'm out for 2 to 3 days.
Oh my God. Do you carry EpiPens with you?
Don't need them yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That would, oh my God. To never taste a steak again? Oh, that'd be fucking shitty.
Right? Like that one meme. Like, which one would you, like, you can keep 3. One has to go forever. Yeah. And it's like steak, sex, beer, and what was the 4th one?
Donuts. I think the 4th one's donuts.
Donuts? Yeah. I sit there and I stare at that one and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to give up beer. It doesn't mean that you're giving up other forms of alcohol. So
true. However, I enjoy beer.
Yeah, this is true.
Beer is good. It is. It's fucking tasty. If it wasn't, then why would and if it was wrong, then why did the monks create it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it'd be a terrible choice to have to make.
Right, it would be.
So I guess my other question would be, does that carry over to other red meats?
Like, what do you mean?
What else is red besides steak?
Pork is technically red meat.
I mean, no, pork is white.
Oh
yeah, pork's white meat.
Not white meat.
The other white meat. Oh,
Yes,
human,
a very effective campaign.
Human flesh is red.
Oh my god.
But human falls under veal.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
What?
Yep.
So wait,
Well,
can you eat veal
listen-
then?
I could become a cannibal, but I'm not going to do that.
I mean, but you're a monkey, so is it
That's
technically
true.
cannibalism?
Or is it just part of my everyday diet?
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
But I can eat pork, I can eat chicken, seafood. I just can't do beef
no.
or dairy.
Or dairy.
Yeah,
Or dairy.
So
That's,
anything that comes from a cow.
right.
You're allergic to cows.
Yep.
You sent me an article, Monkey, and I want you to talk about it.
Oh, so these really rich white kids, I guess that's what we'll call them, came up with a great idea. So let's have a party, but for you guys to come to the party, you have to come up with a 3-minute PowerPoint, and we get to heckle you, and you have to drink. So you're awarded on your presentations by best presentation, best dress, closest to 3 minutes without overgoing. And there's just a few rules. So your presentation or your PDF slides cannot exceed 3 minutes of length. You should go over the 3 minutes, practice. If you do go over it, you'll be forced to drink your drink and then resume giving your presentation. Every additional minute, you'll have to drink more.
Oh, God.
So if you do an hour-long talk like I do, you're going to get alcohol poisoning. Heckling is allowed. Death by screech is punishment for non-witty banter, I guess, whatever. And, what's this last one? Oh, it has to be set on a 3-minute timer. So if your talk goes over it, that's how you know you have to take another drink. And people are just doing this like crazy.
I kind of agree with Spanky. I don't want to go to a fucking PowerPoint party. I've been to too many fucking briefings and classes. And it's like, God, I don't want this.
Could be fun.
I mean, I guess. I think with the right people, like the right creative-minded people, it could be fun.
No, I'm going to disagree all 100%.
Why?
It's point.
Simply because it's PowerPoint?
Yes, you had it right. You're in your first statement. It's PowerPoint. There's nothing fun about PowerPoint. Yeah. No.
You guys should come to one of my PowerPoints. My laptop dies. The projector goes out. My microphone dies. My slides don't load. I mean, it's a good time.
How? Like your laptop dies because that's how long it goes?
So I had to give a talk on advanced persistent threats to the military.
Oh, God.
This was a long time ago. And it was when the military was like, hey, we're going to start a cyber unit. So I got to go out and speak and talk about the stuff that I used to do and how they would never catch somebody like me. And so I'm going over all this attack history and stats and how things are done and the people that are behind it. And my laptop just dies right in the middle of it. And this guy up front, he was a Fulberg colonel, just had this like death stare on his face. Like, you better get it going. Luckily, I had my talk memorized, so I was able to do it without the PowerPoint. But yeah, it was about 3 hours long.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's without Q&A?
That's without Q&A.
Jesus.
Yep.
Note to self: avoid OPSEC monkeys briefings.
Dude,
They're
seriously.
really good, though.
Are they? Because they sound like they're not.
Yeah.
I'll send you all one.
Cliff notes. Cliff notes.
Yep.
Send me the cliff notes. We're good.
Right?
It was really cool, though, that
In
day.
like the short
the
version of Cliff
The military
Notes.
tried to recruit me really hard. It was pretty funny.
Right? If they only knew.
Yeah.
Oh. Man.
Freaking Great Cloud, I know you wanted to talk about that one vet who burned his Class A's.
I do. I got it brought up. And obviously everybody, and Nation, I'd like to see you guys chime in on this as in the two chats here. I got the article pulled up. Army veteran brought to breaking point by ungrateful Americans. A U.S. Army veteran who felt he was wronged in an altercation and subsequent trial has burned his dress uniform, claiming that America has stabbed him in the back. North Carolina resident Vern Williams is a 12-year veteran of the U.S. Army, a father of 3, and former member of both 101st and 82nd Airborne Divisions. Thanks to what he feels is an injustice in the legal system, he has also been found guilty of threatening a woman with a knife. Williams claims that the woman, who was considerably older than him, came in onto his property and refused to leave, eventually calling the police and claiming he threatened her with a bladed instrument. Williams was subsequently taken in and charged. Williams claims that the judge ignored North Carolina law and sympathized with the trespasser who allegedly lied under oath because the judge looked exactly like the woman who pressed charges on me. In the claims made on his GoFundMe, which has rendered mostly unquotable due to excessive grammatical errors. Wow. Williams admits he had been financially strained by the legal battle, but is willing to go to the Supreme Court if needed. Hold on. What are you actually going to go to the Supreme Court for? What? This is not one of those. There's no issue here that would need to be taken to that level. There's just not. And they would probably not take up this case. But now angry and trying to stay out of prison, Williams has burned his uniform in protest. Quote, everything on this uniform right here, I sweat and I bled for, he said, pointing to his uniform and pinning his irreplaceable purple heart to his dress jacket collar. He then covered his uniform in gasoline and set it alight, causing wool, nylon, polyester, and stacks of decorations to go up in orange flames and black smoke. Why in God's green earth would you allow judges to not follow the law? He asked the camera. The Currituck County resident is currently engaged in a legal battle to prevent him from going to prison and missing time with his family. Burning uniforms has long been a form of protest associated with the protests against one's military. Williams has taken it a step further by protesting against the public who allows such injustices to take place on U.S. soil, particularly against those who defended said people. So my first thought is, how did this become an issue, and why didn't he just call the police to remove the trespasser?
Wait, what?
Why didn't he just why didn't he just try to get the police there to remove the trespasser? I got it. There are certain protocols and you want to be able to stand your ground. I do not know North Carolina law. Therefore, I don't know if there's castle doctrine or stand your ground laws in that state. Because there's not enough background of the story in the article on how it actually played out. So my question is, how did this become an issue? What's the background? What's the background to it? Because all it says is that somebody was on his property and he came out with a knife. That's what I don't understand. And then, David Cocorico in the Facebook Live, I got it. You have a right to appeal as high as you want. However, an appeal all the way to the Supreme Court is not automatic. The Supreme Court has to choose to take up your case. So yes, you can appeal. You can file the appeal all you want. But if the Supreme Court chooses not to take up your case, then the appeal is null and void. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So pretty much you could try to go there all you want, but if they don't want to see you, then you're not getting in.
Right. If they don't want to hear your case on their docket, then they're not going to hear your case on the docket. Period.
So then, all right, so let me fully understand, because, you know, you will have the right to appeal your ruling up until, like, to where you get to the Supreme Court. But if they don't want to hear your case, then whatever ruling the next lowest echelon ruled stands?
Correct.
Okay.
Again, and that it would have to be a very compelling case, and usually these cases involve some type of amendment violation or something like that, something that's actually going to have a heavy opinion and reverberate down through the lower courts. So, and it could. I mean, stand your ground is always a huge deal, but I don't see it getting all the way to the Supreme Court.
Like, what about state Supreme Court, but not federal?
I could see it getting that high. Depending on how his first appeal goes.
Yeah. I don't understand why he would burn his Class A's. Like, I still have my fucking Class A's. And they're still fucking put together, ready to go. I probably should get them dry cleaned, though.
Yeah. Again, David Cocorico in Facebook Live, I understand. Yes, it does have to go through the appeals process, which there's several courts, and depending on which way it goes, and depending on what court may side with him on his thing, but again, for it to get all the way to the Supreme Court, one, it takes money.
Yeah.
And two, the Supreme Court's got to be willing to hear it on their docket. Many, many cases go to the Supreme Court for an appeal or a ruling, but they are only able to take so many because the way they weigh the cases, the way they write their opines, it's very time consuming, and their caseload becomes very full very quickly. So I don't see it going that high. However, I do see it at least getting appealed at next two levels. So whatever court he was in, the next level up, and if that one doesn't go his way, at least to the next state level court, higher court. But let's reel it in a little bit, because the Supreme Court's way down the line, if it even gets there.
Yeah. Well, it's break time.
Woohoo!
Well, when we come back, we are going to have Chris Pozek on from the Veterans Rideshare, and he is going to be on to tell us all about it. So we shall be back here rather shortly. So yeah, we'll be back soon.
Just walking on shells, this feeling that love conquers everything else, until you reach the point in mind. There was a failure to communicate, so set to leave but we were forced to wait. Nobody said we had to relate. At the end it's over, I'm finally sober. I'm finally sober. My only demon, my only regret is that I left you with scars so that you'll never forget. Sick of forgiving my mistakes and my faults. Shattered your glass heart to millions when I ripped it apart. There's nothing left. Love is gone. So there was a failure to communicate. So sad to leave, but we were forced to wait. Nobody said we had to relate. At the end it's over, I'm finally solving my mistakes. That's a leave, but we were I'm finally sober. Nobody said we had to relate. At the end it's over, I'm finally solving my mistakes. That's a leave, but we were I'm finally sober. Nobody said we had to relate. At the end it's over, I'm finally solving my mistakes. That's a leave, but we were
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
fucking answer your phone, hey, God.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Fucking answer your phone, hey, God.
Hello.
WTF Nation Radio.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Call me back so I can bring something for you. Hello. I just burnt my hair with my rolled marijuana. Call me back. Stupid strawberry something. Hello. I just burnt my hair with my
baby, you got the number in the fucking bar. This is fucking Lewis. I don't know why you ran off and took a road. Yeah, baby, you got the number in the fucking bar. I know you're digging my vibe, baby. Give me a call back. You know the number. I don't know why you ran off and took a road.
Bobby. Hey, just want to talk about your guys' radio show and how awesome it is and everything.
I know you're digging my vibe,
Anyway, yeah, make America great again.
You know the number.
Hey, just want to talk about your guys' radio show and how awesome it is.
Hey, brother, we need to get your show nationwide on this Sirius radio or satellite or something. It's kind of hard to watch it when it comes on this damn little cell phone. Let's see what we can do to get you nationwide. Love to see you. Love to hear you. Continue on.
You guys need more fucking lines if they're all busy.
What the fuck?
Get some more. Let me shit in your mouth.
Holy shit, we're back!
There you go.
Caught me off guard. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am so sorry about those audio shit thing that was happening. I am so sorry. I fixed it, so that's good. Anyways, hello. We're back for part 2, and I'm joined with Chris, and he's down there. Hello, Chris.
I am still on.
Yeah. All right, so Chris, you are from Veterans Rideshare, which it's a privately held California organization serving the local and long-distance transportation needs of riders in Orange County and the greater LA area.
That is correct.
So, all right, well, tell us about, like, what exactly, like, I know I kind of just gave a little brief description of Veterans Rideshare, but what exactly is Veterans Rideshare? Like, how did you guys come up with it? You know?
Yeah. So basically, a few years ago, we realized that I'm a combat medic. I was a combat medic in the Army, and we were trying to supply cars to veterans that were at risk of homelessness and unemployed, so that they could earn a living. And that didn't work out so well because as the math shook out, that nobody's figured out about Uber and Lyft and all those places, that they really got to hustle for about 21 hours a day to make a living. So we decided that, and we're part of a big group of companies with financial services and call centers all over the world. And basically we decided we wanted to do something to give back. So we thought, okay, how about a black car service that can offer these unemployed and underemployed veterans that are having a problem transitioning into civilian life an opportunity to have a career. So we started there, and, you know, I got to tell you, I've never been involved with anything that took off so quickly. It was short order before our drivers, who are mostly veterans, we can't hire all veterans because according to my counsel, it's discriminatory, which I thought was a great idea for some free press. But I erred on the side of caution. And I could tell you, when they started telling their stories to these people they were transporting, CEOs and CFOs, we quickly got into the trucking last mile delivery. We quickly got into the paratransit, wheelchair and gurney transport. And that summary that you just read off of our website was at the very beginning. We're statewide in California now, and we're also opening up other states. And it's rocking. I mean, I've taken unemployed vets and given them opportunity. We've taken homeless vets and put them in positions where they flourished. I mean, I've got a kid that was homeless with 3 kids and a wife, and now he's one of my managers, well on his way to a huge career, and so thankful. So it's about the mission.
That's amazing that you're statewide. I'm from California, like born and raised, and I know that, you know, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people in the military come from California. Like, we're one of the biggest suppliers of the military. So there's a lot of vets in California.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
That's amazing. And that it's, now, are you mostly focused around like the municipal areas, like the big cities, or are you out in the boonies as well?
We go anywhere, all the way to Arizona, all the way to Nevada, and all the way to Oregon. So we're anywhere rural, industrial, any metroplex. That's what we're concentrating on, and we've got a lot of government contracts pending now that will probably put hundreds more veterans to work here in the probably in the first quarter of 2018 as well.
That's amazing. So what started this need or this company? Like, as far as, what was the, I guess, founding moment where there was that realization of, like, we need something like this?
Well, the press, I mean, we all hear it and we all kind of understand the numbers. At the time that we opened this, there was in excess of 550,000 vets out of work. And that's a huge number. And you see all the stuff going on with how we want to support all the people that come into the country illegally or immigrants, and not to get off on that subject on the interview because I know that's not what it's about, and then we let our brothers and sisters sit in the street. So, that was the moment.
Yeah. Great Cloud.
Yes.
I know you've got some questions.
I do. I'm on your site right now, and the thing that's really gotten me is as you're starting to expand. You said you're expanding in other states here shortly, hopefully. What got you into the delivery service of packages?
The last mile delivery, when we started transporting these CEOs and CFOs, and the guys were telling their story, they're like, hey, we ship things and transport them or we manufacture things and transport them to California. Do you guys do this for the trucking side? So I got my happy ass up and we went and bought a truck, and next thing you know, it was full. So then as it kept going, then there was other CEOs and CFOs and COOs that, hey, we manufacture things and ship them across the country. Do you guys get semi-trucks and trailers? So I go buy semi-trucks and trailers. It was amazing everything that we did and we touched, the way that we are accountable. So many people in today's, in our nation are unaccountable. They don't show up on time. They don't treat people with respect. They don't execute. Their word means nothing. And that's just, we don't take a contract unless we can fulfill the contract. And we fulfill it at our service level. We run over 99% efficient. And I say over 99%. If we were rounders, we would be at 100 because it's well over 99.5% efficiency. The other companies, they don't show up on time. They don't have any really interaction with the people, the clients. These people become part of the family, part of the deal. And that's made a big difference.
Right. It's you're describing that because we just talked about two companies in one of my classes, one being FedEx and one being UPS. And you describe a completely different model set than what we heard about in class. And I find that very interesting. We were talking about taking care of not only the clients, but your employees as family. And I feel that's something that's getting lost, not only amongst, the nation today, but as we start to try and take care of our own vets, like you said earlier. That's something that a company like yours, as this is getting started, is great to hear. So I also see that you have an application online for guys who might want to join you.
Absolutely, we do. And, to talk about what you just mentioned, everybody in the company has a job to do. And that doesn't mean that there's no personal connection. What it means is that our culture is that everybody is working harder for the next person they're going to help, because the harder they work, the better they do. Our business grows and expands, and that puts more veterans to work. So the mentality and the culture at Veterans Rideshare compared to these companies, and just to be clear, we're not just started, we started over 2 years ago, and in our first 6 months, we did more revenue than Uber and Lyft combined in their first 6 months. So,
wow.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a totally different deal. My business development guy talks about taking them over and putting them out of business just because it's such a crap business model for the people. All those people, they make a lot of money at Uber corporate, but for the drivers, nobody's put a pencil to it yet and figured out that when all the dust settles and the depreciation on their car and the maintenance costs and the fuel and the exposure and all that, nobody's figured out that they're getting paid about $2.70 per hour of their time. Some people are okay with that, but that's not how they promote it. But they've done such a great job in marketing, they hook these people in under false pretenses, and that's why they can't keep drivers.
Right. So I have heard that before, that it's a bad business model. But it was a great alternative, and it sounds like the alternative that you now have is in Veterans Rideshare is going to just blow the doors off it, which for a veteran-owned company and a veterans company that is friendly to us in our community is awesome.
Yeah, and our main goal is not to expand this and take all the pie. We're not the big board at that corporate America. We're not that company. Our main goal, to be honest with you, I've taken a handful of guys so far and put them into business for themselves. But we know as corporate folks that not everybody's going to be able to handle being their own boss. So there's a select few that we pluck, and we call it the green to gold program. So I don't know what military history you guys have. Green to gold was a term used in the Army when I was in, where if you were in a high-speed, low-drag enlisted soldier, you had the opportunity to get offered a green to gold program where you would get to go in as an officer with no college degree, so through the officer ranks. So basically taking these people and putting them into business for themselves. It's funny, and another thing that you brought up that is so ironic, you brought up UPS and FedEx. Those are great business models. One of the things on our expansion forecast is FedEx. And FedEx will absolutely take over all the market share from FedEx and UPS.
So we do have a question in Facebook Live. Do you guys ship packages across all the lower 48, or is it simply just California, Nevada, Arizona, and Oregon right now?
So we have the ability to ship cargo anywhere. We have a national DOT number. We have the ability to ship cargo anywhere in the country. We have the ability to drop at any airport and go to any port. It's just a question of our concentration. The biggest value for a transportation company is the network. That network is key. So if somebody called me today and they wanted me to ship something, and this is off memory, from Nebraska to Portland, Oregon. So could I do that? Absolutely. There's a question of having 50 trucks in rotation around the country and fulfilling that, or if I had 1,000 trucks in the country running around, how much easier logistically I could fill that order. When I tell people that I can't fill it today, most of the responses are, well, that's okay for this shipment, but what do we need to do in order to get you guys on board as our only shipper? They understand that when they do business with us, that since they're putting veterans to work and they're giving us an opportunity, and the service level has to be there for any business to succeed. The old adage, if you don't take care of your customers, somebody else will. That is a huge deal in the backbone of what we do. So to answer your question, I can go anywhere in the country. I've shipped things to Europe and Asia. It's a question of the delivery process and the logistics that we put together to accomplish the mission.
Well, Chris, apparently we've got interested truck drivers listening right now.
You know what I really need right now? If you got them, hopefully they're going to be pounding and listening to this radio broadcast, because I've got a contract right now that I could put 40 veterans to work February 1st in Texas. Premium pay too, guys. This is not just because of what we do. The purpose is to give people a career. So our per hour range, we make them employees, and most of the truck drivers listening will realize no trucking company makes anybody employees. They love this independent contractor model.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay them benefits. So they don't have to give them insurance. So there's just one more reason that they can shit on their employees.
Yeah.
So we make them employees. And, we're ranging starting pay, depending on their endorsements and everything, up to $35 an hour. Mm-hmm. And we're giving out a $10,000 signing bonus that's paid out after time. Obviously, they're not going to show up at day one and I'm going to give them a check for $10,000. They have to have hazmat. They have to drive in a team. And if they've got their own 2 guys that they want to drive as a team, perfect. I supply the trucks. I supply the trailers. I supply everything. They show up and get paid.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, we've got a bunch of questions. Like, they want to know your running area, your home time, dollars per per mile. Sorry. Do you hire in all lower 48? Yeah, we've got a lot of interested people.
And now let's talk about one of the main things that you asked there as far as one of the questions. So the home time.
Mm-hmm.
I have been married going on 20 years and 2 kids. Home time is very, very the most important thing that you can have, right? My daughter's 16, my son's 14. There ain't a whole bunch of home time left before they fly the coop. Yeah. So I understand that that's a main focus, or I think it should be a main focus of more people. The home time on that particular contract I just mentioned, I don't care if people want 2 or 3 weeks off. And if they want to work 6 or 8 weeks straight, the easiest way to keep employees and to keep everybody happy is give them what they're looking for. I've got employees that I hire for a job that end up not being able to do the job. I don't look to fire them. I look to find out where I could put them so that they can live up to their capabilities. So, to tell your truck drivers, if they want to be on for 3 weeks, off for 2, if they want to be on for 6 and off for 4, those things do not matter. And I can run them anywhere. In fact, we have a similar program to Green to Gold that where if there's a trucker that is an employee now and wants to own his own trucking company, we automatically will approve them for a semi-truck and tractor lease. And veterans get a special deal. Regardless of past credit. I don't care if they've never paid a bill in their lives, because most of the time there's always a reason. Mm-hmm. And we'll pull them into the family. We'll get them in business for themselves. I'm putting an Army veteran right now in business for himself, creating his own DOT and everything. So the goal is to let people prosper. When you let people prosper, they will be your partner forever.
That's awesome. Now, what do you mean? I'm not really too familiar with like trucking company terms. What do you mean by teams?
So teams are 2 guys. When there's a sleeper, when you look at a semi truck and there's like that big thing that looks like a condo in the back of where the driver sits.
Yeah.
They really are like a condo. They're actually pretty nice. The contract that I have is a 24-hour-a-day contract for 15 vehicles. And so what that means is I have to drive 2 drivers in each vehicle. So one sleeps in the cab, hangs out in the cab, plays Facebook in the cab, listens to your station in the cab or in the bed, right. And then the other one drives.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a battle buddy. A lot of people a lot of truck drivers don't like to drive teams because they're putting their life in the other guy's hands. Mm-hmm. So usually if there's a relationship at all between the 2 drivers, it's a no-brainer. It's like your battle buddy.
Yep.
Okay. Tyler from Facebook Live says it pretty much means that the truck never stops.
The truck, and Tyler is 1,000% correct. Get his information. Let's send him a $50 Visa gift card just because. I'll take care of that. I would love to.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. Now, something from your website, you also put in there that you offer non-emergent medical transportation.
Non-emergency medical transportation. That's a fancy-dancy verbiage acronym for it's NEMT for wheelchair and gurney service. For people that need to get the dialysis and medical treatments. I'll tell you a story about that. I like stories, as you guys can tell, and if I'm overwinded, please just tell me, Chris. We don't have time for any more stories.
Oh, my God, no. Keep going. I love stories.
A year and a half ago, we got a call from a senior organization, a nonprofit out of Fallbrook, California. I don't remember the name. And by happenstance, I was in the office, and I'm never there. And they told us about a veteran named Richard Baca that got his benefits canceled with no notice. And he has dialysis 3 times a week. And those of you that don't know, if you don't get dialysis, you die.
Yeah. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, so Chris, a little background on me. I did 10 years in the Army as a surgical tech.
There you go.
So, I completely understand dialysis. So pretty much this patient's kidneys no longer work and therefore cannot filter their blood. Patients need dialysis treatment to filter their blood from any toxins or any chemicals and pretty much do the job of a kidney. So
you nailed the shit out of that. Nice. You get a $50 Visa gift card too.
Hell yeah. No, but so dialysis, it really is. It is a life. It's a life-saving technique that if these patients don't get because they are in kidney failure, they will die. So it's kind of a big deal.
So basically, there's a lot of people that claim things that aren't true, as we know in this world, unfortunately. So I talked to the patient, me and my NEMT director, Scott West, and one of my financial forecaster guys, just because he was in the car. We went to go see Mr. Baca the next day, and Mr. Baca answered the door. It took a while. Mr. Baca had a stroke. He was an Army sergeant during the Vietnam era, and he had a stroke. He's lost feeling in his left part of his body, and everything was true. They, for some reason, through a glitch, canceled his medical benefits and the transportation, and they didn't have the money or the type of vehicle that could get him to the VA for his treatment. And so for the last year and a half, we have been transporting him for free.
Oh, wow.
When we agreed to transport him so he could get his treatment so he didn't die, his wife was so concerned because she's like, and she's beautiful. Her name's Lisa Crawford. Mm-hmm. She said, Chris, we can't afford to pay you. I was like, no, but we can't afford to have him die either.
Right? Yeah.
So, every event that we do in Orange County or LA, mm-hmm. I make a special decision to have one of our vehicles go get Mr. Baca and Lisa Crawford and bring them to the event. So any kind of showings that we get invited to, or any kind of organizational events that we get invited to where we get the tables and we get acknowledged, or we're acknowledging another veteran organization, Richard Baca and Lisa Crawford are always at our table.
That's so awesome. Freaking Great Cloud.
There's not enough of you in the world.
Right.
Yeah, well, we need a few more. But, again, we'll continue doing what we're doing and keep it going.
So, continuing with, because the guys are blowing up the chat with a lot of the truck questions and whatnot.
Yeah.
My question about it would be, do you help them get training if they want to become CDL certified?
I will, I'm one of those guilty people that just believe the best about everybody. And when they come and then they show up and they want to get some help with whatever, I don't know if I've ever turned anyone away that was sincere for anything. So to answer your question, yeah, under the right terms and circumstances, would I help them get the resources of training and all that? Sure. I've got a lot of remote jobs that I put guys and gals into. There's so much going on that we have that there's always an opportunity for something. That I think that's the best answer to your question that I could give you without specifics.
So Dale from Facebook Live wants to know, he is medically retired, upper back, lower back, herniated neck disc. Would that be an issue?
We have so many opportunities. Not everybody in the organization is drivers. Keep in mind, we have HR, we have admin, we have social media folks, we have accountants, we have logistics. There's no end to the opportunities that we have. So yeah, I mean, get them on the website, get them to fill out an employment form. Let's see what we can do to help them. I think that there's always a way to do something for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And then another one of our truck driver listeners, Tyler, he says that this sounds amazing, but his only issue is that he cannot sleep in the bed of a moving truck. And so
there's other opportunities there that they don't have to be on teams. That specific deal I was talking about was for a specific contract that we're asked to fulfill in the Texas.
Uh-huh.
So we have, I have drivers that are one-man shows. I have one guy that has his two dogs with him all day long, and they live in the truck basically. So no, you do not have to be team drivers. You do not have to have hazmat certification. You don't have to have any of that. You have to have a Class A, obviously, CDL if you want to drive a semi. But that doesn't negate you from all the other opportunities in the company just because you don't want to fulfill that contract. Then not at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're also working on a homeless community where we're going to provide homes, shelters, training, and everything for veterans to get them back on their feet, treatment. And we're working on putting that together for a launch in 2019 as well.
God, that's awesome. Yeah. Again, we need more of you in the world. So, Chris, my question, because I want to know, what's the coolest thing your company's transported?
Okay, so that's a great question. We have transported to Dr. Dre's house.
What?
No bullshit. It's for reals. We have transported doors and windows to Dr. Dre's house for part of his remodeling of his estate.
Because Dr. Dre said.
But there's probably even one more better. We got called a lot of times. People get jacked around by shipping companies.
Yeah.
They tell you what you want to hear, get your credit card information, get your items, and then hold you hostage. It's like when you move and they tell you, oh, it's only going to be $1,800 to go across the country in a semi, and then they get your shit. So then they tell you by the time, oh, I can't deliver it because we went 2/3 over a mile than you told us. So it's going to be $42,000 now.
Oh, my God.
So we don't do that. But we do get calls often from customers that have experienced stuff like that. So I think his name is Eric Shue, Elizabeth Shue's brother, and his wife is on one of the morning shows.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know who I'm talking about or no?
Not really, no. I don't. I go to work at 6 in the morning, so I don't really get to watch morning shows.
Yeah, I think, hold on for a minute. His name is Eric Shue. I'm going to try and look it up while I'm on the phone with you guys. So they had a little bit of a problem where they didn't get their stuff delivered when they were supposed to be there. They had this big soiree, as all those rich people have soirees, as we all know.
Yeah, right.
And lo and behold, somehow they got to us and begged and pleaded for us to pull off a miracle from God. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, we did.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so it was up in New York. It was a door window for their house that was part of an expansion or remodel, and they were having a party, and the people were coming, and half the house was open or some crap. And yeah, it was very cool.
That's awesome. Spanky wants to know if you guys have shipped baby goats.
You know, it's funny Spanky brings that up. We just got something talking about baby goats the other day.
Oh my God.
I'm like, how the hell do you deliver baby goats? I mean, you know, animals are cool. I love animals. So I'd be like, the driver had to pull like over every hour and be like making sure they're okay. Like they didn't eat each other or some shit. I don't know what they do, but I've never delivered baby goats, but I would be willing to go on the first trip with the driver to deliver those goats. I can't drive. I have no problem sleeping in the cab in the sleeper while somebody else is driving, but I absolutely positively would love to do something like that.
Now, do you guys, if a veteran was looking to relocate in the country, could they call you guys up and ask, you know, hey, can you ship, you know, my household goods from A to B?
Yeah, we do PSDs. We do a lot of that where we actually get contacted. We're actually one of the approved shippers for obvious reasons on doing that. Mm-hmm. But the way that the money works out from the government, the soldier, sailor, Marine, or airman is better off monetarily personally if they did it themselves with how the pay works out.
Okay.
So I haven't invested a lot of time. Amy Roback is Andrew Shue's wife.
Oh,
she's on, she's in the morning show. That's who I was thinking of, just to bring that up. But anyway, yeah, and if anybody has any questions about how all that works, then I can absolutely help them with that.
right? Yeah, no, we definitely have a couple truck drivers who are apparently posting parts of their resume in
Perfect.
Facebook
Well,
Live.
Another thing, talking about the benefit to the actual people, you would think with our business model that organizations like the Veterans Administration, what better service to transport our brothers and sisters in need of medical treatment than by our company. So what we've experienced so far is usual. You guys, if you're all ex-military, you know about the VA. Mm-hmm. You can't even get somebody to talk to you about the shit. And they give out RFPs to companies. You try and compete on the RFP, and then you've got every little mom and pop that lets their brother and sister drive, and then that's their only employees, never show up on time, that get contracts because they underbid it. And you got these guys getting left at the VA, not getting picked up, missing their appointments. Can you imagine if somebody went in for some treatment for PTSD and the car didn't come?
Well,
or it left them sitting there for 2-3 hours before it showed up.
Well, so actually, I brought this up, I think last week or the week before, where a veteran was discharged from a VA clinic and ended up dying because he had gotten like a ride to the VA hospital but was unable to get a ride home from the VA hospital, and he was frozen to death. He was up in, where was it, like Minnesota, Michigan, one of those random M states.
Absolutely disgusting shit, and they're more abundant than we know.
Exactly. And I was actually talking about why, like, a lot of VAs offer shuttles to the facility, but no one offers a ride home.
Absolutely.
And so
the shuttles that take you to the facility, if you've got a Mr. Baca that can't even get out of his house without assistance,
then
how the hell is he going to get on the shuttle?
Yeah. And so I think that's an amazing thing that your company does, is that not only will you make sure that, these guys get to their appointments, but you're also going to make sure they get home.
Oh, absolutely. And, where all these other companies that underbid to steal these RFPs for the VA, that the VA ends up having to post it another 6 months later because the cheapest guy didn't deliver jack shit for service. What a surprise there. They do not care about anything but the dollars. Our people get to connect. Our people, they are mostly veterans. They're not all veterans, but they're mostly veterans. They connect with these people. Do you think that somebody that needs to go to medical treatment with the military persona of I'm an alpha male or alpha female and I don't need to go there really wants to get in the car with somebody that they can't talk to? They much prefer to get into the car with somebody that they know that's going to be working at the company next week, because they hold on to their drivers because they take care of them. And nobody puts any credence into that thought whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. So I think that part of your program, especially like the non-medical transport, or non-emergent medical transport, is absolutely amazing. Because I've seen it since I've started working on the civilian side, where people are just kind of like walking out of my hospital and like wandering out to the expressway, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like,
exactly.
We don't know how to get home. And it's like, and it's not just, veterans. I know a lot of these guys are just, civilians, but still, like, and they look at me and they're like, can you give me a ride home? And I'm like, I'm trying to get to work. Like, right. I can't. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they have no idea. We saved, because we do work for the VAs. We just don't have any of the RFPs, any of those contracts.
Yeah.
But we saved them. We showed the VA how to save 60% of what they were paying another company. And I still can't get anybody to talk to me at those places.
Why though? Like, that's absurd.
Too much bureaucratic bullshit. And every time you get to, I was at meeting for one of the VAs here in California that will remain nameless for now, just because I haven't had enough alcohol to talk about it. But it's like you talk to these people and everything's an Olay, everything's a pass off to somebody because they don't want to address a problem. Mm-hmm. They don't want to talk about a solution. So you can never get to the person that actually makes the decision and goes, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, how can you save us money? And you'll do the contract at that? And you have veterans picking them up and dropping them off, and you'll pick them up on time and drop them off on time? Hell yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Not one person will ever take the time to have a conversation like that.
Right.
Then when you make appointments with them, they don't even show up. They don't even respond to the appointment.
Great Cloud.
I'm just still in awe about this, about the mission itself, and the service that he's providing. And this company is awesome. Nation, if you're in there, I see in the Facebook like Tyler and those guys that have experience and whatnot, get over to his website, check it out. And if you're interested, like Chris was saying, send them your information, apply on their website, and see what he can fit you into. Again, he said not everything is driving, not everything is trucking. It's a great model, and it's something that every veteran or owned corporation should try to be. And it's a great model. In fact, I'd like to send you an email later and pick your brain a little bit so I can take some of this back to class with me as we're discussing management and HR practices in my current class.
Would love to help you in any way that I could.
Again, I think this is a superior model to a lot of other corporations.
Wait till you see when you see how everything works, you're going to be astounded that it's that easy to make the world a better place and help all the people that we're helping. It's just that simple.
So your timeline for, and I want to just try to recap. So you were talking about the homeless thing and the communities and whatnot, and your timeline for that is projecting for 2019. Is that correct?
Yeah, 2019. So basically, we're going to put together a community that's going to be self-sufficient, that will allow them to participate in the program. And obviously, we all know some people, veterans or non-veterans, are homeless because they want to be homeless. There's other veterans that are homeless because circumstances. Those are the ones that I will want to take. I'll want to put a roof over their head, 3 hots in a cot. I will train them in whatever interested type of trade that they want to be a part of, that they have interest in. I'll get whatever training that we need to get. I will make them complete the training. I will find them a job and transition them to civilian life. And it will be no different than boot camp almost. And I can assure you, not everybody will like it, but everybody that gets through will integrate well. And and just so you understand, there's a vested interest by Veterans Rideshare in that whole ordeal, because there's going to be a lot of training that's offered that's conducive to VRS's growth. And they will have a job at VRS if they want it. Everybody will get guaranteed job placement once they graduate the program, and they will have a job at VRS.
That's awesome.
Yeah, totally stoked about that program. I'm working with a couple of the counties in California to get some land and then put it together. But it's going to be a self-working, encampment or compound or whatever you want to call it. And there's going to be rules, and not everybody's going to be okay with it. But the people that do, they're going to change their life.
Yeah. So what you mentioned, you're working with some of the counties. What kind of feedback and reception are you getting from them, from the state of California and the local government you are working with?
So not talking to the state per se, because that's a bigger hornet's nest than the counties. And I've been working the counties for this program. It's been in my brain for at least a year and a half. So just, everybody, when you start networking and talking to people, it's always, oh yeah, we could do this, we could do that. But you guys all know this as well. When it's time to make the decision, all of a sudden they get a little vaginitis and they don't want to commit to stuff, right? And I'm a brass tacks kind of guy. I'm interested in, this is what I need, can you help? And if they can't help, then you don't help. But that's okay. In the future, there's going to be something that they need that we can provide for them that's going to be almost reciprocal answer. So I do believe that I will be able to get land for this project from a city donated. And obviously there's going to be state and county and city, maybe even some government substances, whatever that word is. And so basically I want to make sure that I've got every base covered in order to do what I want to do, because giving a roof over these guys and girls' head will not fix them. There's all kinds of ancillary type of help that they may need. I'm working with some of the healthcare providers that we have contracts with to provide that care. So I make sure that I have every angle covered for these boys and girls so that I can really help them.
That's amazing. While you've been talking, I've been going over your website, and I clicked on, what was it, book a ride? And I was just looking through it, and it like popped up my location. I was like, oh, who told you?
Well, we have some Intel guys that work for us that, have done some pretty interesting things in the past, and we had them transition some of that to our website. But, it's funny, if you go to our YouTube channel, you guys asked me early on about the social media platforms. I forgot to tell you about YouTube channel. You guys can actually put eyes on Richard Baca and Lisa Crawford and some of our employees, and you can get some feedback of how they feel about what we do. Pretty cool stuff.
That's amazing. Now, on here, so what kind of benefits for your riders do you offer?
So for the riders, on the NEMT side, there's the service level. As far as benefits for the riders, there's not like a frequent rider program or anything like that. But being where we're supposed to be, so they don't sit out in the cold, so they don't sit out in the sun, making sure they get home, getting them inside. A lot of places curb drop folks that are physically disabled. Yeah. And that's a problem, because if there's nobody around and they fall down, they crack their head open, and there's nobody to call EMS, those poor folks are going to die. So, no, we go above and beyond. You can if you look through all the Facebook photos, you'll see our drivers inside medical facilities, bringing a lot of these old people that are in these assisted care facilities. They don't have anybody. Families don't want to come and see them. They never get to see their family members because they can't leave, really. So our drivers are encouraged to bring them stuff. Bring them gifts to show that somebody's thinking about them. Aww. Oh, yeah. So you can look through. There has never been a requested expense that's ever come from a driver to get one of our patients a gift. And they're not big things, little stuffed animals, a candy bar they may like, something. Our drivers get to know these people, and that's that connection I was talking about. So when you've got medical facilities. And Minx, if you're in the medical facility now, yeah. I don't think you or any of your people there are going to jump up and down and say how much you love your NEMT company. We've got a video on our Facebook or on our YouTube page where they did just that. Everybody in the facility got together and did a quick video of how they screamed, "We love veterans rideshare." No other company gets that kind of accolades from anywhere.
Question in Facebook Live. Do you guys have an app, almost like Uber or Lyft?
See, the app thing, we were going to go, okay, here's the problem with the app thing. To answer your question, yes, we do. We do not promote it, nor do we really even use it. And I'll tell you why. The state of California, for those of you that don't know, is a very difficult state to do business in. So as soon as, it's terrible. It's terrible. In California, if you have a mobile app for on-demand ride hailing, then you are not considered a transportation company. You're considered a TNC, which is a transportation network company. And that is a whole different level of insurance. And they only allow you under a TNC, according to the CPUC, the California Public Utilities Commission. The definition of a TNC is a app-based platform that only has independent contractors using their vehicles. So since independent contractors don't give these guys any benefits, what do we want to do that for? That doesn't help anybody. So that's why we stayed away from the app.
Okay. Great Cloud.
Yes.
Do you have any more questions?
No, I'm questioned out. I'm just, again, Chris, I cannot emphasize enough how in awe I am of your business model and what you're trying to do for the veteran community.
Right? Great Cloud's going to school for business.
Great Cloud, anything that you need, I am there to help. You're a veteran, right?
I am, sir.
He's a warrant officer. Don't talk to him.
Oh, I'm sorry, mister.
That's no. I'm saying it over.
So see, since you're in that veteran network, you get carte blanche now. You're gonna have my email address, and whenever you need help, whenever you need stuff, I'm a serial entrepreneur. There's always something going on, my friend. So some of the stuff that I can go into with you and help you may assist you in your studies, may assist you in your exams, may assist your brain. There's very few people that really kind of look at how to connect things together. And I assure all of you that Veterans Rideshare was the first piece of the puzzle. There's more to it. Talking about FedEx, talking about the villages for the veterans. All these things connect. They connect. There's 7 more steps. So when all these connect, controlling the market, dictating how everything is run, and being able to do those things with one benefit in mind, one focus, and that is to take care of the veterans. That is really, it will become very magical. It's awesome now. It's great. We get all kinds of press. We do all kinds of cool things. Over the holidays, I don't know if you guys looked really in depth at the Facebook stuff. We had you guys realize that if you were ever on duty station in Alaska, it's very expensive to fly out of Alaska. There was 2 soldiers, husband and wife, that have not seen their family in over 2 years. They have had a baby that has not seen either family in 2 years. And we found out about them, and for no particular reason whatsoever, we flew them from Alaska to Indy for Christmas. We covered it.
That's awesome.
We had a young man, that Army sergeant, that committed suicide. He had a little PTSD issue, committed suicide. He left 4 kids without a mom or dad because the mom had already left. The children ended up with a grandmother in Atlanta, Georgia, that lived in a garage because she had no money. Those 4 kids had modest Christmas lists, to say the least, because they didn't have real high expectations of Santa. Well, we delivered probably about 3 times the amount for each child that was on their Christmas list, plus got them everything that they wanted and had it delivered before Christmas. So these are the things that we can do.
And I preach, and Minx has heard me preach this a lot. Our community is large. Our community is strong. And there is no community that's bigger than ours, bar none. And we need to take care of our own.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Mike Everett has one final question for you. Do you have to shave?
Do you have to shave? It's funny. I'm a military guy, man. I really enjoyed my time in. I like everybody to be presentable. Mm-hmm. That does not negate you from an opportunity with me. But if you look disheveled and you're not going to be a good front person in any capacity, then we have a spot for you. but it's just usually not in the front. But again, if you're just unshaven, that doesn't make you unpresentable. That's, you know, in the military it does, but not in the real world, and not in my world either. So no, you don't have to shave to have a job. You just have to look presentable.
That's awesome. Shut up, Heath. Fucker. Oh my God, Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, when you guys reached out, I don't even know how you guys found us, to be honest with you.
We have eyes and ears everywhere.
Well, you know, I partnered up for that thing for the Christmas holiday with Army Wives 101. It's a blog site for on Facebook, and you know, a young lady named Jackie Toops. She was so helpful. This young lady, she had a deployed. We found out that her husband was deployed for their anniversary. So we sent them an anniversary present to be used when he came back home. You would have thought it was $250. It was no big deal. You would have thought I gave this lady $1 billion. She was so thankful for somebody thinking about doing that. The husband reached out, so thankful. Now this lady has taken it up and made it her plight to assist me, and she was very instrumental in all of the Christmas cheer that we were able to spread. She communicated with the people. She took care of it all. You know, partnerships like that, and hopefully with you guys going forward. And, you know, I hope I can help you with your school, my friend. I promise you that. But these relationships are really what it's about.
Yes.
And the more that you guys know about me, the more I know about you guys. Together, you know, we could do some pretty miraculous things.
Oh, I fully agree.
Totally agree.
Yeah. But Chris, again, thank you so much. I know you put out an incredible amount of information, and I know we've got a lot of interested, there we go, parties listening right now. So I hope that, you know, you get a bit more feedback or even just applications that come in from people wanting to be part of your organization.
Thank you very much. And again, if we get one opportunity to change a life and we're able to do that from an hour of our time, boy, was that a well worth effort on all of our parts.
I agree. Well, everyone, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be me and Great Cloud, and we're going to wrap up the rest of the show. So we'll be back in about 8 minutes. So, yeah, we will see you shortly. Wait, wait, there we go. Me and Great Cloud, and we're gonna wrap up the rest of the show. So we'll be back in about 8 minutes. So we'll see you.
What do you think of when you're all alone in bed at night? Do you try to convince yourself that everything's gonna be alright? Can you feel that
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
December, but it's January 16th. I'm tired.
Totally understand that.
It was a long day. Oh my god, dude, our guest!
Dude, that was awesome. That was phenomenal.
Such good opportunities out there. Vets, listeners, if you guys are truck drivers, look into this company. Like, it sounds absolutely amazing.
It does.
Ugh, but on to the news.
Woo, more news.
We have so much to cover still.
Still.
One of it being is California, which everyone can see has been divided in this diagram into two different states. California, which is in blue, and New California, which is in yellow. So, the article goes on to say that the founders of New California took an early step towards statehood yesterday when the reading of their own Declaration of Independence from California, a state they describe as ungovernable. Their solution? Take over most of current-day California, including many rural counties, and leave the coastline urban areas to themselves. Fuck you, bitches. We're out. That was not in the article. I added that last part in case anyone was unsure. So going off of this diagram, everything in yellow in any sort of election would be red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would that whole yellow part would turn red.
Let's see here.
Or not the whole, but the majority of it would turn red. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of conservatives and Republicans in California. However, they get kind of what's the right word? Not represented at all.
I'm pulling up. I'm going to drop you an image really quick.
Ooh.
Wow, that is fucking scary. Holy shit.
Oh, the amount of red that comes out of that state?
Huh?
What image?
It's the electoral map. I'm trying to find the election map from 2016.
Oh, yeah, no. A bunch of counties were red. But because, LA County and along the Bay Area, because those were blue, the entire state was blue. Almost like Illinois, where the entire state of Illinois, except for the county of Chicago, was red. But because Chicago has such a large population, it turns the entire state of Illinois blue. So that's the dilemma with California, is that the majority of the state is being spoken for by a small portion of the state, but those small portions have a larger population.
Nope.
So the article goes on to state, quote, "The current state of California has become governed by tyranny." The group, led in part by Vice Chairman Robert Paul Preston, declared in a document published online. So the split would look something like this, as you can see here. After years of overtaxation, regulation, and monoparty politics, the state of California and many of its 58 counties have become ungovernable, the group said in a statement, citing a, quote, "decline in essential basic services, including education, law enforcement, infrastructure, and healthcare." The group, organized with the Council of County Representatives and various committees, hopes to model their split after the state of West Virginia. That's according to CBS, whose Sacramento affiliate filed the reading in a sparsely crowded conference room, claiming the authority of Article 4, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution. The aspiring 51st state plans to convince California's legislator to split the state before submitting the resolution to Congress. The effort remains, to be clear, a long shot. A California venture capitalist named Tim Draper sought in 2014 to split the Golden State into 6 parts, including, quote, the state of Silicon Valley. It failed to make the ballot. New California's work with regular California state legislature won't likely start in earnest until later this year or early next year. Quote, we have to demonstrate that we can govern ourselves before we are allowed to govern, Tom Reed, a founder, told the network.
Fuck. No, it goes back to that other line when this California as a whole wanted to secede from the U.S.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Last time I checked, California gets a lot of their water from not California.
Yes and no. Okay, so all the areas, especially that middle part. So if you draw a line between Chico, Sacramento, and Fresno, and then almost down, you see that big ass county down in Southern California? That's San Bernardino County, right? Mm-hmm. So if you draw a line from Chico, Sacramento to Fresno and down into the beginnings of San Bernardino County, like where that blue part is, all that is considered like the Central Valley. And that's where a lot of agriculture comes from. But running along that is also the California Aqueduct, where, again, we are piping water down from Northern California down to the LA basin.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's that. Because, LA doesn't really get a lot of water year round.
No, because it's a desert, technically.
Yes. So there's that. I don't know. It would be very, very interesting to see how, if this were to happen, it would be very interesting to see how each state of California has any sort of GDP, or like what goods and services they would offer. So obviously California and like the blue area, that's where Hollywood's going to be, right?
Right.
And that also includes a little bit, not all of, but a little bit of Silicon Valley. However, in New California, that's where you have all of the agriculture. That's where you have Napa. So they're getting all the wine. That's where all the mountains are, where everyone goes to fucking snowboard and ski in the winter. Because, again, that's where the Sierra Nevadas are. That's where all the water is located. Like fresh water that you can drink. There's some fresh water in the blue area. It's called the River Delta. I don't suggest drinking that water. It's brown. It is. It's brown. It's just shithole. There's apparently many big sturgeon in the River Delta. Apparently people have found like 3-eyed fish in there.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
awesome.
Delicious.
However, everything that comes out of San Francisco, that's what, California has to offer. And then they've got all the fishing along the coast right there,
Right.
But
it would be interesting to see if this gains any traction whatsoever. To get past that first part of it being just an idea or a theory that they want to accomplish.
This whole breaking it up into different states, though, this is not something new. Like the article said, this is nothing new. This has been going on for a long time, where the conservatives of California feel underrepresented, rightfully so, and therefore want a conservative state, if you will, of California.
Right.
Which again, this map almost completely mirrors that picture you sent me.
Yep.
Where at least then those conservative counties actually have some sort of representation in Congress and in state legislature and like in the state Congress.
Right. And then, so there's a lot, everybody's, oh, it's just easy. Let's start a new state. Well, okay. So you've got your article, your Declaration of Independence, as it were. But there are a lot of extra steps, not to mention the fact that you need 2/3 ratification from the Congress itself as you start to go forward in this. Because it was it 2 years ago, I think I read an article that Colorado wanted to do something similar, where they wanted to separate northern Colorado from southern Colorado. Basically from the line where Denver Metro really starts north. They wanted to secede and become northern Colorado, basically, and their own state. And everybody kind of laughed that off because it's kind of the same concept. You have the Denver Boulder area, which is all hippie filled from people coming from California now, and it has literally swung the way Colorado is represented, not only at the gubernatorial level, but at the congressional and at the congressional level, both the House and the Senate.
That's that's kind of mind-blowing that, California is not the only state talking about like, we want to split.
Yeah. Could you see it happening? You could see it happening in other places that have that same concentration of those large urban areas, right? That get Democratic handouts, as it were, or are very liberal leaning. So Chicago. So let's look at New York, Illinois, Colorado, California, maybe Washington and Oregon would fall in that boat. Florida's kind of iffy, but then Virginia and Maryland. Those are the states that you could really see it happening, right? Because they have that such diverse boundaries, or diverse in the wrong word. The literally a linear boundary between what's actually represented in their government and the way the state population is laid out. Because if you look at any of those 2016 electoral maps, you can actually see it. Ohio would be another one.
Yeah, Ohio. Well, and again, Illinois would be a perfect example where I'm pretty sure the entire state of Illinois wants to carve out Chicago, and Chicago has its own fucking flag. It's the only city to have its own flag. So I'm pretty sure the entire state of Illinois wants to carve out Chicago and be like, let it be a state, so that way the rest of us bitches get some sort of representation and our voices get heard.
Yep. Again, it's what it would have to come to. It really would. Or, the economy could spiral out of control and all hell break loose and we're right back at Civil War.
Right.
Shots to that.
Hell yeah. Woo! Right? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, really quick, I need to do a shout out to somebody who just apparently went to basic training. His wife messaged me. So, Kyle Allen Gervers. He is in Alpha Company 219 Infantry at Fort Benning. 1, congratulations on going to basic training. 2, what's up, dude? Have fun.
Yeah. Get him drills.
Hell yeah. Apparently, he's already tired of the 18-year-olds in his unit.
Yeah.
It only gets worse. It only gets worse. No, honestly, dude, enjoy your time in basic. I know it's going to suck right now, especially with these, grown, quote-unquote, 18-year-olds who think they fucking know everything, when literally the easiest thing to do in basic is to just shut up, stop thinking for yourself, and listen and follow every instruction that is given to you. Basic is going to be a blast.
Yep.
Easiest
game in the military you will play.
Yes.
Bar none.
You don't have to think for yourself at all. Just do the drill sergeants will not set you up for failure. Like they want you to pass, so that way they don't have to deal with you anymore.
Right.
So they will make sure that you succeed. Dude, good luck. And I know you just got there, so it's week, 1, maybe 2 for you.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking kick some ass, dude.
Day 0 plus 3.
Right, yeah. You're going to love it. It gets easier as you go forward, obviously, because you phase and things do start to, get easier. But just enjoy your time in basic.
For sure.
So, yeah. So his wife wanted me to give a little shout out.
That's awesome.
So.
That's actually really awesome.
Yeah. She just messaged me on my Minx page, and I was like, oh, okay. So, but yeah, so, I went to basic in 04. When did you go to basic? Great Cloud.
99.
99. Yeah. Dude, I was in 7th grade. Wait, hold on. Didn't Ice go to basic in 89?
No,
he was in 80s, right?
Ice helped edit the Blue Book, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you're right. Dude, he's been in... Dude, you're fucking right. He was part of the Blue Book.
He's part of the Blue Book.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's awesome. But I have some breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
Yes. We just got this dropped. This article is 2 hours old. It's from NavyTimes.com. Navy filing homicide charges for McCain and Fitzgerald commanders.
What?
Article reads, the commanders of 2 warships that collided with commercial vessels in the West Pacific last summer, killing 17 sailors, will face negligent homicide and other criminal charges, Navy officials said Tuesday. Four destroyer Fitzgerald officers, including Skipper Commander Bryce Benson, will face charges of negligent homicide, dereliction of duty, and hazarding a vessel for the June 17 incident that killed 7 sailors off Japan, according to the Navy. The 3 other officers, 2 lieutenants and 1 lieutenant in junior grade, were not identified in the Navy statement. Commander William Speaks, a Navy spokesman, that's funny, said that the process for deciding whether the officers will be court-martialed is very early in the process. Everyone apart from someone in the command triad has an expectation of privacy, Speaks said. Specifically, the charges have been preferred for possible court-martial, meaning the officers will face Article 32 hearings that will review evidence in each case to determine whether the officers should be court-martialed. If court-martial proceed for the unnamed officers, Speaks said their names and roles will be revealed then. Benson was the only identified as a ship's commanding officer in the statement. Commander Alfredo J. Sanchez, who was in command of the destroyer John S. McCain at the time of the August 21 collision near Singapore that killed another 10 sailors, will face the same charges according to the Navy. Wow. Yeah. An unidentified chief petty officer also faces a dereliction of duty charge, Navy officials said. Non-judicial punishment actions are also going to be taken against 4 Fitzgerald and 4 McCain sailors, according to the Navy.
Ooh.
Benson and Sanchez were later relieved of command. It remains unclear when the hearings to decide whether to try the sailors on the charges will begin.
Oh, goodness.
The article continues for another half page or so, but let's
Chris brings up a good point in Facebook Live. So he says, wait, but an illegal felon can kill a girl with a gun in broad daylight and won't get charged with shit. Because let's all remember, Kate Steinle's killer got off with nothing.
Yeah.
Ooh. Dude.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like, on one hand, I'm glad that they're going to be holding someone responsible for collisions, considering, we have the most advanced warships in the world, and yet somehow they ran into
2 very large freighters.
Right? Yeah, like it's absolutely inexcusable how that happened. So I'm glad someone is being held responsible.
So here's the thing about it is, would it really warrant that charge of negligent homicide? That's my question. I want them held accountable, yes. I want those that were in charge and those that were a part of the collision process to be held responsible. Is the charge of negligent homicide the right charge?
That I'm not sure about.
Because let's face it, homicide is, it's not a light charge, first off, but that would be, that'd be like saying if you get into a tick because you made a wrong turn in Iraq or Afghanistan, and your guys, God forbid, your guys are KIA, would that be the same thing? I mean, that's the level of scrutiny you're looking to be at.
Yeah.
So negligent homicide, the homicide charge, I think, is a little, from my standpoint. And again, I'm not a Navy lawyer. One, I don't know how the regulations are written, but I think they need to be held responsible. And I'm not sure, Casey Lynn, I'm not sure what those charges should be or what they should happen. I do think they need to be held responsible. Period. But negligent homicide, that's a huge charge to have to prove in a court of law.
Yeah.
Marshall even. So, and then again, we just got that dropped in one of the ops chats. So, again, 2 hours old, Nation. If you want to finish reading the rest of the article, it's on NavyTimes.com. Go check it out and form your own opinions.
That's damn.
That's So there's that.
You're right. So there's that.
No.
So speaking of California, I know we kind of diverted from that, but I kind of want to bring this back a little bit to California. 13 children have been found shackled to beds.
That's right. Holy
yes.
shit.
So this is coming out of Paris, California, which is in Riverside County. So a California couple has been arrested after police found their 13 children allegedly held captive at home. Some, quote unquote, shackled to their beds with chains and padlocks. So David Allen Turpin, 57, and Louise Anna Turpin, 49, were held on charges of torture and child endangerment. They are both being held with a $9 million bail each. The couple's children, aged 2 to 29, lived in Paris, which is 59 miles southeast of LA. Officers were alerted by one of the victims, a 17-year-old girl. The teenager, who appeared to be, quote, only 10 years old and slightly emaciated, on Sunday managed to escape and call the emergency number using a mobile phone found inside the house. The Riverside Sheriff's Department said in a statement. Police officers later found, quote, several children shackled to their beds with chains and padlocks in dark and foul-smelling conditions. The officers were shocked to discover that 7 of them were actually adults, aged between 18 and 29. The victims all appeared to be malnourished and very dirty. They are all now being treated in local hospitals. The head of one of the hospitals, Mark Ufer, told Reuters news agency, quote, it's actually heartbreaking for the staff and it's unbelievable what you see. Again, each Mr. and Mrs. Turpin are being held in jail with a bail set at $9 million each. On Muirwoods Road, which is the street they were on, apparently there was no hint of the horror inside number 160. This is a small suburban home with 3 cars, and a people carrier gleaming in the driveway. This article came from BBC, so I'm thinking people carrier means minivan.
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of van device.
Yeah. The curtains are drawn, but a decorative Christmas star can be seen hanging in one window. The estate is neat and the houses on the road are spacious, but they are close together. It is difficult to imagine how a family could hide such an enormous dark secret here. And yet that is exactly what seems to have happened. Neighbors are now engaged in soul searching about whether they should have spotted that something was awry. No one seems to know how long the siblings may have been held captive, and of course, no one can answer the hardest question of all, which is why. According to public records, the couple lived in Texas for many years before moving to California in 2010. Mr. Turpin has twice declared bankrupt. At the time of his second bankruptcy, he is said to have had a relatively well-paid job as an engineer at aeronautics and defense technology company Northrop Grumman. However, with so many children and his wife not working, records suggest his expenses exceeded his income. The children's grandparents said that they had not seen the family for 4 or 5 years. James and Betty Turpin told ABC they were concerned a good Christian family in their community, or they were considered, a good Christian family in their community, and that, quote, God called on them, unquote, to have so many children. The family's Facebook page shows numerous photos and videos of them, apparently happy and smiling. Many posts contain comments from family or friends. They appear to have renewed their wedding vows several times in recent years, often with their children present. Like, that's fucking sad.
Yeah, this is...
Those
stories that make you hate fucking people.
Like, for a 17-year-old female to look like a 10-year-old girl, that means she doesn't have enough fat on her body to look as though she has gone through puberty.
Yeah.
So therefore, she doesn't have hips. She doesn't have thighs. She doesn't have boobs. Like, she has nothing. She looks like a child when she is almost an adult. Like, it's almost like I hate to compare it to, you know, like concentration camps because, you know, like they weren't being forced into forced labor, but they were being held prisoner inside their own home by their parents and then starved and dirty.
Yeah.
Like, for what reason? And like that blows my mind that, you know, people fucking do that to their kids and like this is the thing that I don't fucking understand is that people like that are able to fucking breed like bunnies, or people addicted to fucking illegal drugs are able to fucking breed like goddamn bunnies. And yet those of us who would make good parents and would do everything possible to put like our children first and like to provide a good home and a life for kids, like we're struggling to even get or maintain a pregnancy. Perfect example, my hospital alone in 2 sections, and this includes me as well. I'm one of these numbers. There have been 7 of us in my section and in our labor and delivery section who have had, within the last year, we've had either miscarriages or ectopic pregnancies. And it's been one after the other. And it's so frustrating because it's like, you know, we have jobs. We're productive members of society. We're not in any sort of fucking religious cults. You know, we're not fucking insane. But we're unable, for whatever fucking reason, to either get or maintain, like, pregnancy, you know? And, like, a bunch of us are struggling with infertility right now, too. Again, I'm included in that number. But then you get these hookers who either fucking chain their kids up to their beds or are fucking coming in pissing hot for heroin and meth, and they're like, I haven't done drugs. And are you sure? Like, because your piss test just came back hot for literally everything. You know, how come these people are able to, you know, have kids? Like, what kind of fucking justice is that? It's bullshit. I get so angry about that.
I know you do. We've had this discussion a couple other times about the meth one specifically. I remember us talking about that on this show.
Yeah. You know,
you hot that night.
Oh my God, I almost surprise adopted a 2-year-old yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
I did. I was so close. Almost did it. He was so cute. And he was so snuggly. Never mind the fact that he'd been slipped some drugs. It's fine. But, like, you know, we wheeled him into the OR and he's in his little crib. And I was like, you know, hey, come here, you know. And, like, he reached his arms out for me and I was like, ah! And I, like, scooped him up and he just kind of, like, nuzzled into me. And I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to take him home.
They might have frowned upon that.
So close. I mean, you know, surprise adoption, kidnapping, tomato. I understand that, you know, it's frowned upon in literally every society. But that's okay. But a lot of my nurses are like, you need a kid, Minx. And I'm like, I'm trying. Like, I'm working at it. Fuck. They're worse than my grandma. They really are, because they're like, when are you going to get pregnant, Minx? I'm like, you know, in order to get pregnant, there's a step that needs to happen before that. And that's kind of hard to do when, you know, he's not here. So, you know, there's that. I don't know. Just fuck. Right? Ugh. Friggin' exactly, Shannon. And that's when my ovaries exploded. They did. Oh my God. I didn't want to put him down. It's just like, I'm going to hold on to you forever. But yeah, then my doc was like, no, you need to give him back. And I was like, do I have to, though? Like, do I really? And the answer was yes.
Wow.
Right? Ugh. Oh, so you know how, did we talk about this? No, I think you and I talked about it before the show started. So you know how Hawaii set off that fake emergency message about a missile launch?
Yes.
Okay, well, one, the worker who pushed the wrong button was forced to resign, which I don't agree with. At all. I don't agree with that at all. I think, you know, he's human. He made a mistake. I don't think he should be forced to resign. Like, if anything, it could have just been like, oh, it was a drill. Surprise. You know, like, fucking play it off.
It's difference between negligent discharge and test fire, test fire, test fire.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just testing it. It's fine. And I think that's how the company should have just played it off. Like, oh, yeah, we were just doing a test. We were doing a drill. But you can't let people know it's a drill. Otherwise, they're not going to respond to it accordingly, right?
Right.
Which is why, like, anytime they would do, like, oh, we're going to hold a fire alarm drill, it's like, well, fuck, I already know it's a drill, so now I'm not going to fucking act as though it's an actual thing. I'm just going to be like, this is bullshit. Why are you wasting my time right now? Whereas if the fire alarms were to just go off, now I'm going to be like, okay, well, I know what to fucking do. Like, let's fucking go. Are we moving? Are we staying here? Like, you let me know what we got to do, and I'll fucking do it. Well, anyways, apparently the same thing happened in Japan. Japanese public broadcaster NHK mistakenly sent an alert Tuesday warning that North Korea had fired a missile, just days after a similar mistake caused panic in Hawaii. Unlike in the Hawaii case, however, this error only took 5 minutes to correct. NHK, there we go, news alert. North Korea appears to have launched a missile. NHK, fuck me, said in a notification sent through its app to mobile phone users at 6:55 p.m. Tokyo time. Quote, the government in J alert urges people to take shelter inside buildings or underground, unquote. Japan has an advanced warning system known as J alerts that has traditionally been used for earthquakes, but has, over the past year, increasingly been used to warn about North Korean missile activity. North Korea fired 2 missiles over the Japanese island of, oh God, I can't say it.
Hokkaido.
Huh?
Hokkaido.
Hokkaido?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Over that Japanese island of Hokkaido last year, triggering the expansion of the system. The government began an education campaign on what to do in case of an incoming missile. And local authorities held emergency drills in areas on Japan's west coast. So 5 minutes after sending out that first message, NHK sent another notification. The news alert about a North Korean missile sent earlier was a mistake. No government J alert was issued.
So, real quick about those J alerts, they are very fast, and they come out relatively when the event is happening. One example, I was stationed there, and I had my phone and whatnot, and my phone went off, and then you could hear like a whole bunch of other phones go off as I'm going through the train station there. right? And I was like, what the hell? And so I pull out my phone, and everybody's pulling out their phone, and it says earthquake. And literally, as I finished reading the alert, the earthquake hit. It was about a 6, give or take. So it was some good shaking in the train station, and all the trains stopped and whatnot. Everybody just kind of waited it out. And then as soon as it subsided, everybody started going around and walking back again, and continued. The train started running again. So it was, but it was, the alerts are fast, and for them to correct it within 5 minutes is amazing.
Yeah. Do you think that the Japanese employee who accidentally set this false alarm is going to get fired and or forced to resign?
No, that's not how the Japanese operate.
So how would they, like, honor killings?
No. No.
I don't know.
Now, the Japanese are very, very meticulous when it comes to their stuff. They want everything to be perfect and operate efficiently and smoothly. But I don't think this would cause anybody to get fired in Japan. Based on my time there and what I've seen, I don't think something like this would cause somebody to get fired. And then the great comment in the Facebook Live is, yeah, agreed. Enough false alarms, people stop caring.
Yeah.
Like going back to your example of the fire drills.
Yeah.
People, they okay, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
And then it actually happens, and then you're fucking shit out of luck.
Right. Friggin'. Yeah. So that happened in Japan.
Yeah. But think about that. Think about the way the two systems were acting, right? 5 minutes. Japan realized that, oh, this is a fuck up. This was a miscalculation or a missend. They sent out a recall message or this is not real. 5 minutes. 38 minutes in Hawaii. And I discovered this last night. There's a story of like somebody throwing their kid into an open manhole or down a sewer.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't have that article, but I remember him talking about that, bringing that up. Somebody had chucked their kid down a manhole cover into the sewer to provide them shelter. But
oh my God, that poor child.
One is now traumatized for life. 2, 38 minutes. You know, again, I pulled it up yesterday. The distance between Asian Cartman's land and Hawaii, Oahu, is 4,400 miles. Pretty sure by the time that recall message went out, everybody would have been feeling some blast effects.
Right? Because they're saying that the missiles, in theory, they're saying that the missiles could get from North Korea to Hawaii in a matter of minutes.
Yep. You know, and again, there's a lot of factors in play, altitude, apex, re-entry timing, all that other stuff. But yeah, I agree. I don't know the time, and obviously that's something that would probably not be published very well. But that warning would go out again. NORAD and NCM, NMCC would have those alerts based on telemetry of a launch and all those other things, and they could provide that information hopefully quickly. But there's a comment in the mixer chat. Roughly 14 minutes to cover 4,400 miles. That's yeah. So they've been killed twice over based on the 38-minute timeline. Yeah. So at 15 minutes or at 30 minutes, you're like, oh, this is not real.
Right? Like you would think.
But yeah, so I remember that from last night talking with Ice. Somebody threw their kid down down a sewer.
That poor child. Oh my God. I want to know. I know you on the last break, you and I were discussing that North Korea just put out some more demands from South Korea on the Olympics, but we didn't get into that article at all. It's just like, oh, they just demanded some more shit.
Right. So, man, it's fuck. This is going to be bad, right? The Olympics are what, less than 3 weeks away?
I don't know.
Opening ceremonies and whatnot, and they want to march under the same banner and all this other stuff. I think it's more of a ploy on North Korea to try and get some of their sanctions lifted. And if you come to an event such as the Olympics, which is supposed to be worldly and coming together for the spirit of competition and all this other stuff, if you show good faith in something like that and not be an asshat as these are coming in, would the international community take pity on North Korea and ask the UN Security Council to lift some of the sanctions? Ultimately, though, the 5 permanent party members of the Security Council, which all hold a strong veto vote, and they can veto anything that comes out, would have a major say. The United States being a major factor in anything that the Security Council proposes. So there's that. Thoughts?
I don't know. I still think I still think South Korea should not have allowed North Korea to enter their country, but that's me.
Yeah. In case it's going back to our tinfoil hat theory, she still votes biotech if they do anything.
Well, yeah, no, especially since, all their defectors seem to be testing positive for antibodies to infectious diseases.
Yep.
I wouldn't let them in. Be like, fuck you guys.
Just saying.
No. Your country's a shithole.
Oh, I'm so glad we didn't cover that tonight.
Oh my God. The video of all the news anchors saying shithole. There's that meme out there that somebody put together, and it's it's the one where Putin and Trump are shaking hands, and the meme goes, Trump telling Putin, "I bet you I can get CNN to say shithole." He says, "No way." $5. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
So here's the last thing I'll say on that for the night. Everybody's questioning Trump and all this other shit. He is not a stupid man. He's not. He is probably playing the media exactly how he wants to play them. And there's a good chance they are playing right into his hand. Why? Because what's the current discussion? Not the budget, not the looming shutdown. The use of the word shithole to describe countries that literally everybody's all, oh, I'm proud to be a shithole, blah, 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 right? No, we want to focus on that and not real fucking topics that are about to cause issues in the United States, i.e. the budget. This DACA and immigration reform fight is going to be the linchpin in the budget, because they've kicked the can down the road twice now with the short-term extensions. They did it in September and they did it in December. And now We're 3 days away from the U.S. running out of money, and they don't have a solution yet. And everybody keeps talking about immigration reform being tied to this and the border wall and all this other stuff they want tied to it. But if it doesn't go the way the POTUS wants, like if he doesn't get what he wants in there, i.e. the reform and or some funding for the wall that he wants, I see him fucking pocket vetoing that son of a bitch. I truly do. And then it has to go back to the Congress. And good luck getting 2/3 of the Congress to override that veto. I.e. 2/3 of the Senate and 2/3 of the House. And we already saw the one they passed in December squeak by with a total of 224 votes. 216 is the cutoff to pass it.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about Republicans that jump ship because there ain't no Democrats are going to vote for it probably. They won't. But you get 8 to 10 Democrats, or excuse me, Republicans that jump ship and don't want to vote for it, fucking budget's dead.
Yep.
Where's that conversation in the media?
It's not.
It's not. Everyone wants to talk about fucking shithole.
I triggered you again. I'm so sorry.
All good.
Do you want to do the show lineup? Because it's that time.
Is it that time? Wow, look at that.
Is.
Yeah, I'll cover show lineup.
All right. Oh.
Nation. Sorry about that. I hit my stand. Nation, as you know, we have a show every day of the week except Wednesdays currently. We'll start off with tonight. Tonight is Tied Up Tuesdays with myself and the lovely Minx.
Hey.
Tomorrow is our Donza, and there is no show. We usually play some awesome games. Thursday is Sergeant's Time with Ice and guys from the main page. Wednesday is Friday Night Freedom with the lovely Minx again and Pookie. And then Saturday is Saturday Night Savagery with Jay Reddy and Pookie. And that show gets a little crazy. And they're usually talking about some weird shit. Again, I always go back to the show about the time traveler because that was the one that was really, really odd. Then we roll into Sunday with the Green Room. And that's with Cause, Charlie, and Jason. And they're talking all things 420 friendly. And how that's going to affect the vets. And eventually maybe active duty even, depending on the information that they're getting. So that's a really good show for those who are interested in those topics. Training holiday. Yes, Spanky, I'll use the term training holiday. And then we roll into Monday. It's a Monday edition with Ice and Flash. And with Ice, it shows like last night, we were covering some current events and things that affect active duty and veteran community. And then it's right back to us on Tuesdays with Tied Up Tuesdays. And a great night. And then we have the Jose's Taco Truck hosted by KJ from noon to 1400 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is that our lineup?
Hell yeah, it is.
Ooh.
All right, y'all. So, our upcoming guest. Our next guest is actually Thursday, but noontime. So it's going to be on Jose's Taco Truck. Jonathan Davis, ESQ, from Veteran Esquire Legal Solutions, PLLC, is going to be on. And then in big caps letters, Taco Truck, not Sergeant's Time. After that, we have Guardians of the Green Beret on Friday, which that's going to be interesting since I laid into the 7th Special Forces group last week. Hello, guys. Whoops. On Saturday, we have John M. Peck, who is a USMC veteran, a quadruple amputee, and the recipient of a double arm transplant. So he's going to be back on to give us an update on how he's doing and how his recovery is progressing. Next Tuesday, you and I have a guest. Mm-hmm. We have Todd Thompson and Steve Rubin from WAVES Project. So WAVES, which stands for Wounded American Veterans Experience Scuba, is providing wounded American veterans and their families the opportunity to experience scuba diving. I actually have a friend who scubas through them. And he's actually messaged me and he's like, get them on. All right. So now they're on. On Thursday, so next Thursday, the 25th, we have Dan Caparel. Oh, God, how... Caparel? I fucked that up. I'm so sorry. From Hire Our Heroes. So those are upcoming guests. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for Tied Up Tuesday. We will see you Thursday for Jose's Taco Truck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget our guests. Everyone have a great rest of your week. I personally will see you here Friday with some Green Berets, apparently. Hooray!
Shed some light on the 7th issue.
Right? Hopefully. All right, y'all. Have a good rest of your week. Sleep well, and have a good day tomorrow.
Night, Nation.
Shame inside of all the guilt we try to hide, and I no longer have the will to drive. All these promises were lies, and I will never give into all the shit that life has put on you. The past will stay where it will die and bring an ending to this goddamn life. I've already given up on you, but never giving up on me. Flies eat away at every day that's lost and left to rot away. And your eyes leave trails of panting emptiness. Your feelings for me will digress, and I will never give into all the shit that life has put on you. The past will stay where it will die and bring an ending to this goddamn life. I've already given up on you, but never giving up on me. And I will never give into all the shit that life has put on you. The past will stay where it will die and bring an ending to this goddamn life. I've already given up on you, but never giving up on me. games.